I will talk about the three different types of style. The first type of style that, as we know, character or a language is created by human being, either Chinese or Canadian or Western world. The original meaning, we create the language or the character. We want to make note of what happened. So all start with symbol. However, Chinese calligraphy is a bit different than English or Western, because Western more like alphabet, but Chinese more making a shape. For raining, they will make like a sky with drop, water drop. Water, they will make a water flow like the river. So that's how the character form. So that style, we call the original style of the writing. So just like, for example, I'm using example in alphabet in Western language. For example, originally you will have like A, B. This is also a style, right? These three different styles are using the alphabet, for example, and then I jump back to Chinese calligraphy. Original, they don't have all this kind of writing. I believe this is all printing. So, because it was created and adopted by what I call the Latin. That was adopted by Latin. Later on, human beings would like to make it easier for handwriting, so they become like this. Today, if you at school, you do this hand printing, but normally you do the handwriting, you do it this way. Later on, it's more artistic. We create like calligraphy. Now, this was created by original for making note, to mark whatever happened. This style is also a different style. It's for easy communication, later handwriting easier for handle, for writing, more speed and more convenience. Later on, we become a calligraphy. Now, calligraphy, when you're doing calligraphy, I can do some calligraphy like this, but you will see maybe Bruce have a different way of doing calligraphy. Bruce probably will do more like this way, right? So everyone have a different, when you come to talk to calligraphy, meaning have personal style. Represent Peter Lee, represent Bruce, represent Sally, or May, or Alice. What I try to say, this one is not no artistic, no aesthetic that you can judge how good they are. Or even the handwriting might not have your personal style, because just for making easy, convenient, for making note and writing on a piece of paper. But when you're taking a class with the teacher teach you the way or how you're supposed to be follow with the 3 lines when you do the calligraphy. I'm right now still talking about English, right, the 4 lines. Then the teacher will say, hey, if you do the small capital, the B should be like this, and the A should go like this. But when you're talking about the F, this is all calligraphy. Now, when you learn the technique of the calligraphy, you're still not a very artist, because you still haven't adopted enough technique, skill, to form your own style. After years of practice, you're reading a lot of books, you adopt from many different techniques. Slowly, you have your own style. just like a baby born with the family, they adopt, copycat with the parents' action, smile. When they go out to school, they have some idol, maybe the classroom, the leader of the classroom is doing a good job. You being attracted, you formal, you copy. Or you like Michael Jackson, if you like to dance or singing, you follow, you copy. So slowly you adopt this and that, and then you digest in your own person, and you become your own style. Calligraphy, the same thing. Let's go back to Chinese calligraphy. In Chinese calligraphy, the same thing. The original old style that everyone learned, last section, Li Shu, is one of the oldest style. But before Li Shu, we have Zhuan Shu, even older. When they're doing the moon, they're going this way. The sun, I'll make it very simple one. I'm not talking about any complicated water. So that is not calligraphy. And later on, people they say, hey, it's so complicated. For writing, it's no good. Then they will form a different style. This one we learned from last class. And then later on, we have another hand printing, similar, because they cannot make totally change of the image, like this. And then after a while, they want to do it fast. Like this. However, for all this changing, the same thing, using the same explanation, example from the English character or alphabet. This all handwriting doesn't mean they have any artist. Or even 5-page handwriting doesn't mean you have a good skill in writing. After you taking a class, the class teaches you the method, how to use the brush. The brush is formed by many hair feathers. How you know to make with the brush run and press and lift and move to create the style that we want. That is called calligraphy. When you learn that, you know all the basic technique, skill of using how to use the brush. Then you get into calligraphy, the art. Now, when you get into that, you're still not doing a very good job because you need years of practice. That's what I try to say. Now, whatever I just talked here is very basic, let you know the concept, how many different styles. So I hope now you will understand and know the style itself. There are 3 styles in calligraphy. One, that original form from many years ago, that the symbol for us to learn, to make note of what's happening. After that, another style is handwriting, easy for convenience communication. The last one is the style that you have your own technique, calligraphy, the skill, how to write nice, that art. So that's the last one, the style that represents an artist. That is the style that we want to learn. We want to learn this technique, the basic movement, the basic use of the brush to form that kind of calligraphy. Now, if you understand all these 3, have any question about what I just said? No question? Now, let's talk about the last one. The last style is the one that we concentrate. When we know this style, and you know all the basics, then you will want to learn. From there, you have different style. Remember, when I talk, the style here represent you, represent Wang Xizhi, represent Ouyangxun. Those are the very famous antique old artists. Now, when we're talking about those, why we want to learn from them? Because they are the idol. They are the standard for us to learn. Then we need to learn them. So when we adopt from different people, like you want to sing, learn from Michael Jackson, you learn from Pavarotti, you copy all those good things and you adopt to yourself and you digest, you form your own technique. Once your technique formed and being recognized, and every people like your technique that you created, that is your own style. That's why we want to learn from all the old people that they have become master. And I want to show you different style in the Li Shu. Last section, I taught you the style that was created and formed by my father. And he adopted from many of these different masters and become recognized, very famous, and lots of people like to learn from him. And now, last section, I teach you only all the basic technique, how to use a brush, how to make the dot, how to make the stroke, how to make the vertical stroke, how to make the check, all that. But now, I want to show you different style. Then you will see, oh, the Li Shu have more than one, actually more than 20 to 30 style. But I can only give you a few. I have more. I want you to take a look of each one different. First of all, this one is more recognized, the most recognized by a lot of people, called Cao Quan. In today, if I want to use an example, how to represent this, we call Shuai handsome man, beautiful woman. Because this style, they look very elegant, very easy to attract people's eye. Okay? And some of the style, they are very skinny, but they have power. Like 这个张景飞, this one, they have very bone, but they have a lot of power at the end of the stroke. When you look at all this, then you will see, if you look closely, every single stroke they have a little bit different. However, they are not separate away from the basic standard technique. It's not everyone, every man or every woman born that way. Some people they're short, just like me, only 5'5". Okay, some people are very 6 feet, 7 feet. They play basketball. I cannot play basketball. However, that's its only outside appearance. If you want people to recognize you, what you need to do, educate yourself, learn more technique, behave yourself, self-discipline. All this is inner beauty. So sometimes you saw some people, they don't have a good outlook, but when you get to know of them, then you become recognized, hey, this guy is good, he's great, but this woman is great, she's good. She has a nice heart, she's kind, she cares about people. Or that man, he knows a lot. However, he doesn't have a good heart. They're always bad to people. In Chinese calligraphy, very much the same. Some of the calligraphy, the style, they're very fat, bulky. But some of them very skinny. Some of them very attractive. How do you know they are good or bad? So when you know all the technique, the basic skill, like the dot or the stroke, the beginning and the end, when you know all the basic, when you look at that, just like you're just a person, or 3 feet away, you say, hey, this guy look good, or this woman look good. When you get closer, you talk to them, the body language, everything, within first couple minutes, you already know, hey, what kind of people. The same thing with calligraphy, very, very interesting, that's how I found. Okay, so what I try to say, sometimes you see some character, calligraphy, they look so good. However, if you know calligraphy, then you will see, hey, when I look carefully, they are not that good because they have lots of area, they are not doing a good job, but they just like to put nice shirt, nice shoe, everything. But some character, they are not very nice, attractive, but when you look carefully, they have they have deep information for you to learn. So I want everyone to remember that. Today you might not recognize, but later on, after you learn more from me, I guarantee you, go out to look at any exhibition, you will tell, this one is good. I remember one time, Bruce and I went to one of the exhibition. One of the painting, we both look at that, this one good. It's black and white, but just a man sitting on the rock, right? But a lot of others, they have color with flower, but we don't like it. But we only like that one. Why? Because they have deep information, a lot of things for us to adopt. So that's what I want everyone to know. Okay? So later on, after finish the 10th class, I believe everyone will able to write something. But that's not good enough. Why? Well, you only know how to write something, but you still need to learn a lot. For example, in today's, because the high-tech information online, you can learn a lot of things from online, but they are shortcut. They don't have foundation. So how can we learn all the foundation? Today, everything is so fast-paced. Even though we want to eat, we eat fast food. We go to McDonald's. So we don't have a lot of chance, time like the old day people they learn from, even though if you want to play Kung Fu. You have to start with the straight punch. But today, no, they go in, they tell you to sparring right away. The same thing singing. That you don't start with vocal training. You go karaoke, look at the TV, you can learn. But they will never become the top-notch singer because they don't know the technique. So once you know this little technique, you can write. But later on, you need to pick specific, what style you want, and what style fit you, your character, your personal. All this style, later on, you might want to pick. When you pick on that, then you focus on it. And then after that, you decide that you need to adopt different style. Why? Because different style, different people, they have different knowledge, different experience we need to learn from. So once you adopt all that, after practice and practice, you will get your own style. If your own style good enough, people recognize you, then you will become famous. And people will know you for many, many years after. And I don't know how many of you have this kind of goal and heart want to do that. But I still want to give you everything I know. Hope everyone can learn at least something from me. Opposite. When you want to go down, you go up first. Sit, go up first. Down, press down. Ignore one. This is the straight dot. Press down this way and turn. Okay. They also have another called short horizon. Anyone can tell me how many style of dot that we have? Anyone remember? No one remember.
It's 8. What, 8 was it?
Good, close, 9.
9.
Very good, Bruce.
9 types of dots?
Yeah. Okay, so this 2, and this is a short one, horizon, like this. But let me go down here. Okay. And a straight one, vertical, short word, vertical. Go up and press down. Like this. And then we have the check one. Like this. Diagonal check. want to use a big brush, but this one is not going to absorb the water. And then we have the diagonal upward, like this way. And we have a diagonal down like this. And one more. A round dot. Okay, so how this dot apply? For example, this one with the 3 dots on the right. 1, 2, diagonal up. Anyone remember this, right? Now, we apply all this and this to the bottom 4 dots. 1, that round dot, vertical dot, and this diagonal down dot. Right? So that's how all the basics dot that we need to know about the foundation. Now the dot, when you enlarge it, extend it, it becomes a stroke. And the horizontal stroke, the very famous and very used a lot, is the one with the silken head with the duck tail. Go down, up, press upward, and then lift your brush, move from left to right with a little bit of dome, and then you press down after you pass the center line and twist your brush and up. That's a famous and very useful horizon. And after the horizon, the one that we use a lot also is the vertical. The vertical, you can go like this, go up, and then press, come down. Now, we're talking another basic stroke is the check, the long check, like the moon. We go like this, and then down here. Remember this? Now, the vertical with L-shaped elbow turn. Right here, elbow turn. Press down here, vertical. Right? And then in there, you have 2 short vertical, horizontal. Now, Bruce, you know what this is, right? The moon. Yeah. And then when you have the L shape on the right, the upper L shape. Now you have the lower L shape as well, the elbow. Which one we have? Then we the elbow. Remember this? So you have the upper elbow on the top, the lower elbow, L-shaped turn, 45 on the bottom. So all these are the basic. And another one, the kick. The kick is like this, with the ducktail. Twist, like this. Very similar to this. Okay, so this is all the review of the basic stroke. Now, on the upper hook, upper 45, then you have this is a long elbow. You have the short elbow. The short elbow is like this. This is a short elbow. Okay? So basically, this is all the basic stroke that everyone needs to learn and remember and practice on it. This section, I concentrate and hopefully everyone can take some time and practice, because every single time, like last session, you do one character at a time. But this time, if you can do multi-character all together in one sheet, that will be better, because that will help you in the future. You can write many characters on one piece. Unlike a lot, like all this that I'm doing the Fai-Chun, okay? I can let you guys do in front of people only 4 words, 4 characters, 6 characters. Because you practice and practice, you can do it. But if people challenge you, can you write 60 characters all in one piece of paper? Then you need practice more on this. If you can do this, no one will say, Alex, you are not doing calligraphy. If you keep doing only 4 or 5 like that, people know that you practice only at home. But if you can do anytime 60, 40 people like that, people will not say anything. People know you know. Okay? So that's why I encourage you to take time to do it. Remember, try to do it in the font, not too small. You try to do the font about this big at this moment. And then because you do it like this, you can stand up, do by hand, by standing, not writing, sit down. One, you can do the big like that, stand up, without holding your arm. After a while, then you can do it small, because your hand is already steady. If you do it small like that, holding your arm on the table, continue for years, when you stand up to do it, your hand will shake. You cannot do it. That's the trick. Now, let's do the 10. We did that already in last class, but I repeat again. I want everyone to do it. I hope everyone can do it at home. The horizon stroke. Stop, come down, and press upward, and then move your brush from the left to the right, a little bit of curve. And once you pass the center, you press down and you twist your brush a little bit upward. Right in the center, you go upward and press down. Like this. Press the 10. Now, another one is so similar to the 10, which is 1,000. All you need to do on top here to add 1 stroke. That stroke is a little bit tough. So you remember you have the dot from the bottom up like this, light, press down and go up. This one, it go the other way around. And this one is a big challenge for many of you last class. So you light from the top, press down, and then twist the brush a little bit upward, that way. Okay? So when you do that, and then you do the number 10 on the bottom. The 10 on the bottom. This one, the trick is you make sure that you want this in the center. Okay? Then now, you see, the center touching this, come down. This 1000. The next one is action or work. Instead of the stroke, it's a short horizon, straight. Like this. And then plus the long horizon. Again, come down, press upward, move, and come down, and twist the brush a little bit on top, or upward, and right in the center. Now, you can see the difference between this one and this one. The center stroke is at the end of this stroke. The vertical stroke is the end of this. The vertical stroke of this is in the center of the upper horizon stroke. Okay? Now, over here, 1, 2, 3. The 1 and 2 is very simple. For example, the 1 like this. You need to make, if you have a multi-horizon stroke, you have to make them different. And not every single stroke the same, otherwise it looks very boring. So this is the 1. And the 2, you go like this way. Straight, short, and then with the long horizon. Move. Okay. Now the number 3, you have 3 horizon stroke. You need to make them all different. So what you can do, the top one, I will do like this. Make it a little bit curved, and then I go this. The second one is similar to this. And the last one is the longest one. Okay? Now remember, I try to review. When you have a stroke like that, number 2, you have only one gap. Doesn't matter. Not too high, as long as they are reasonable spacing. But here, you got to be trying to make it similar. Not got to be level. The gap. Remember that? Okay?